Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Jones. I am the OATUG Education Manager. We're about to begin this broadcast of preparing your presentation at Collaborate 20, the speaker orientation. Before I get started, I'd like to go over a couple of housekeeping items. You will be on mute throughout the presentation. If you'd like to ask a question, please type it into the question box in your control panel at any time. After the presentation is over, I will read the questions back and cut and paste them into the chat area, so keep an eye on that. All right, next, I am going to be the one giving this presentation. So I'm actually, one of the things you can look at here is I'm actually using the template that you're supposed to use for Collaborate. So it's got a title to it. You cannot adjust this. But the very next slide, you're going to want to put the title of your presentation. You want to make sure you have your session ID number there. I just put a generic one there for this presentation. It's going to be a 5-digit number if you're with OATUG. Again, we have some speakers that have done some sessions with Quest. Their digits are going to be 6 digits. It's a good way of knowing which user group is doing a session. I also put my name. Mike Jones, the OATUG Education Manager. And I also put that in exactly how I have it in the app. So you're going to want to double check the app and make sure your name, your title, and your company name is exactly how you have it in your presentation. Might seem like a really simple task, but for the Oracle Corporation, I've seen that spelled probably 20 different ways, whether it's Oracle, Oracle Corp, Oracle Ltd, something like that. I've seen so many different versions of it. You want to make sure your company name and your title, everything matches on the app that we have created for Collaborate. I will show you the app in a few minutes. So next, we're going to quickly go over the agenda. I'm going to give you a quick overview of Collaborate. We've got a lot of great different sessions, formats, education. Every year we try to improve on this. I'm going to talk about your presentation materials. The whole reason why we're doing this, and we've never done this in years past, where we've actually given orientation right before the presentation materials are due. Again, I'm going to talk about the Collaborate app. There's a web version and a mobile version. For me, the web version is the easiest to use because I get to see the most stuff. The mobile version is really cool though also. I mean, there's a lot of great information. I highly, highly recommend all speakers download the app and start checking it out. We went to a different app this year, so very important to know if you used Arista in the past. We're using an app called Core Apps this year. It's got a great dashboard. It's got a ton more features, and that's one of the reasons why we switched. And then I can go over the next item I'll be going over, so keys to being a successful speaker. I'll talk about all the tips and tricks that speakers have told me, and I'm kind of sharing on this webinar. I'll quickly go into before, during, and after your session. That I'll go into more detail on the other speaker orientation webinar that will happen right before the conference. And then at the very end, if you have any questions, again, type it into the question box of your control panel, and I will read them over. All right, next. The Collaborate 20 overview. Pretty simple. Regular education sessions, we have over 500 OATUG sessions. So I think we're running about 60 concurrent rooms. So if you are doing a session, you will be competing against 60 other. Hold on 1 second. I was told you can't see my screen, so let's try that. All right. Sorry you weren't able to see my screen. You didn't miss much there. I can quickly go back and take a quick peek at it. This is the main PowerPoint template. Sorry about that. I was not showing my screen. So it happens when you're kind of solo on a webinar. Again, this is the title of the template you're going to use for Collaborate. So everyone has to use this template. You can't use any of your corporate templates, anything like that. This next session is really your title slide. So you want to have your title, your session ID number, your name, your title, your company. Again, I mentioned make sure your title and company are good to go, and they match exactly what's in the app, word for word. Again, we're quickly going over this agenda that I talked about earlier. Next, we're going to be talking about the overview. Again, one of the great things that we've done for Collaborate in this conference is we've created an OHTUG presenter page. So I'm going to quickly jump over to it. This presenter page has all the information that you really need to know. So if you actually jump to the Collaborate page, I have links for all this in the presentation, so you can take a look at that. If you look at the presenter information page, it has all this great information here. It talks about the presentation management system. You want to go in there if you have any updates to your PowerPoint, any additions. It's got the deadlines. It's got some quick links, which are really cool, easy to go. There's your PowerPoint slide template. Talks about the speaker orientation webinars, the one we're doing right now, and the one that we're going to be doing right before Collaborate starts. We got presentation slide guidelines. This is really important, making sure you're adhering to all the rules of the presentation. You can't use it as a marketing tool. Talk about that a little bit later. It talks about upload instructions. One of the big things I'd like to point out here is titling your slides, because again, we've got over 500 sessions, so I see probably over 1,000 different versions of files, and everyone names them in a different weird type of way. What would really be a big help to us is if you simply titled your session the title of your presentation _PPT or _PPT notes. It's really helpful if you do that. I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the titles of sessions, because when we share these later, we have to go in and rename them the title of your presentation anyway, because that's how attendees are going to be looking for them. Talks about everything in here, preparing your presentation, presenting, what to do. So anything you want to know, you're going to want to go straight to this page. Talks about cancellation, media relations. We've got, kind of a marketing kit for speakers here as well. So this is something that's really fantastic and something you want to look at. Next up, I'll talk about the Oracle sessions that we had at Collaborate this year. There shouldn't be any Oracle speakers on this, because they kind of know what to do, so I don't really invite them to this. But we've got Meet the Experts. A really great session. The Meet the Experts are really for EBS sessions, where you actually sit down with some of the Oracle speakers. You can look for those things. We've got them laid out perfectly in the app, where you can click on Meet the Experts session type and look them up. I can show you how to do that a little bit later. We've got a hands-on labs for EBS in the cloud. We've got Oracle support sessions. Those are really fantastic. So if you want to use Oracle support or use it better, or figure out if you want to pay more money to use it, you can do that. Another thing that we started last year that we're continuing on this year is the Oracle Test Fest, Get Certified. This is actually every test that we give at Collaborate is free, so it's a $300 value. They run during all our session times, so you can actually go and take an Oracle certification test. I will warn you that they're not easy, and you really have to know your stuff to pass the test. So it's something you definitely want to look at, and we definitely have that listed on our website. And then one of the last things, and this is an absolutely new program that we have, is the Oracle Open Cab. This is an open cab for EBS customers, and it takes place on Thursday. So it's going to start at 9 a.m. on Thursday, and it's going to run all the way to 2 p.m. There's an hour-and-a-half lunch at the end, so 12:30 to 2 is the lunch. But if you are an EBS customer, I highly recommend you attend the Open Cab. There's 5 different Open Cab sessions. You can look them up and see which one's more pertinent to you. All right, moving on. We've got Turbo Talks. I know there's probably a few speakers here that might be doing a Turbo Talk. We started these to, get attendees a little bit more information quicker. So they're a 20-minute presentation and then a 10-minute Q&A. We also have something that I've listed here called an Ignite sessions. There's only a few of them out there, but there's 3 20-minute sessions in the 1-hour time slot. So again, trying to get our attendees a little bit more information a little faster. We're doing beachside breakouts, which are really cool. And we're going to have some meeting of the member sessions in there. We're going to have, we have a few education sessions in there. And for these sessions, you actually have to walk out to the Mandalay Bay Beach, through the beach, and there's actually a room that overlooks the beach. They're really cool. We're going to have some decorations and things in there. I highly recommend that you go to it. Of course, we have the exhibitor showcase, which is highlighted. We have exhibitor showcase hours that are already in the app, and those things, the exhibitor showcases will be listed. They're for Monday and Tuesday night. Wednesday, we're going to have the beach party also. So keep in mind for that. And then, of course, I've got the app listed there again, just to highlight it. Next up, creating your PowerPoint. So again, you're going to want to use that Collaborate 20 PowerPoint template found on the presenter information page. You're going to download that. Now, one of the things that we asked our presenters to do is to actually create 2 PowerPoints. You want to create one for presenting, similar to the one I'm presenting here. And then you're going to want to create one with detailed notes. Any of the detailed notes that you talk about or really in-depth stuff, you're going to want to use the note section of PowerPoint when creating that. Make sure to follow the sample that I gave you on the opening slide of your template. There's actually a sample that kind of shows you what to put in there, your name, title, company, session ID. So make sure you follow that. Make sure in your session title, your name and company are exactly within the conference app. I already mentioned that. One of the big important things that we try to tell, especially our associate presenters, is make sure your company name isn't splashed everywhere. Really, if you're following the guidelines to the T, you can have it on your opening slide, your intro slide, and at the end. That's the only time you should be spraying your company name. You don't want to put it in all over the place in too many areas. You basically want to tell the attendees a good story and not make it so much as sales and marketing. Keep in mind that all the slides, once you've uploaded it to our system, will be available to all conference attendees. So make sure you've gotten any necessary permissions to post the information that you're sharing. This is something I can't highlight that enough. This is something I run into every year with probably, about a dozen speakers. Again, I mentioned the presentation is not for sales purposes and should not sound salesy. And to simply try to tell your Oracle story. That's all we're looking for a user-based conference, especially things that I know it may sound weird, but there may be some problems with the Oracle software that you've noticed. We definitely want you to point that out. If you've ever seen any issues, let our users know about it. And then if you want to look at old samples and you are an OETUG member, I've got a link there to the knowledge base where you can look at all PowerPoints from all past collaborates. You can take a look at that. You may want to kind of take a peek at some of the ones in the track that you're in, just so you can see what other people have done. Again, creating a great PowerPoint, this is simple to Google. Just keep it simple. Limit your bullets and text, probably the exact opposite of what I've been doing here. Use high quality graphics where you can. Use visual and charts well, and use color well again. If you are, actually one thing I don't have in here, if you are using a video, make sure you embed that video into the PowerPoint. It's always a little bit easier to do that. There is Wi-Fi at the conference, but again, it's Wi-Fi. So if you're using a high resolution video, there may be issues. If you're worried, if you are using a video or you are going to the web on your presentation, kind of like what I'm doing here, I am kind of bouncing between my PowerPoint and the web. It's always great. I recommend everyone get to their room 30 minutes early. Check out the internet in the room, open things up, make sure they're launched and working well. Next up, that I'm going to quickly talk about the PowerPoint slides with notes. I know in the past we've always asked for white papers, and that was about 3 to 4 years ago. But you don't have to submit a white paper. If you've done a white paper, it's great. You can still upload it as a white paper. But again, if you want to just create detailed notes with step for step, please make sure that you put that into the PowerPoint with notes. So you're going to upload 2 PowerPoints in the end. You're just going to upload your regular one and your PowerPoint with notes. Again, view old sessions in the knowledge base. If you want to see how people actually use the note section of PowerPoint, it's a great area where you can go into samples and see it. If you're saving your PowerPoint as a PDF, you do have an option for a normal PowerPoint or the PowerPoint with notes. So when you save it as a PDF, that's where you're going to see your option and how to save it. And then if you're going to create a white paper, please make sure to title it your session title _ white paper. Same thing as you'll do for PowerPoint or PowerPoint with notes. Your PowerPoint slide title. Once you finish your PowerPoint, again, make sure it's titled the session title _ PowerPoint. Create the PDF and then upload it to our speaker portal. Same thing with the PowerPoint notes. I've kind of already talked about that. Once you've uploaded it, and it's not instantaneous, once you've uploaded it, it'll take about a day to get out to the app. Once you have uploaded it, the next day, make sure you go on the app and download it and check it out. Just make sure you've got the proper version there. Remember, you can constantly, after this 28th deadline, you can constantly go in and update the proper upload PowerPoints, because we know up until probably the last hour or 2 of your session, you might be making changes. So those changes could be very important to our attendees. So make sure you've uploaded the latest version of your session. That's the great thing about the speaker portal. Once you go in and you get your password saved, it's easy to go in and update old versions. We will be keeping the portal open to a week after the conference. So make sure if you've made any changes on site or made any changes afterwards, maybe someone asked some questions that spurred you to kind of update your PowerPoint, make sure you have the last version. Because up until a week after the conference ends, and it'll take actually probably about a month, but we will send out a link of downloadable zip files of all the OATUG PowerPoints as PDFs to the attendees. And I think we have to break it into 4 different sections, but they can upload everything. So keep that in mind for that. Next, the Collaborate app. Search for Collaborate events in Apple or Google Store. It's really important that you put that events on there. Otherwise, all this other stuff pops up. Again, download the app on your mobile device, or you can look for the web version. I've linked the web version in this PowerPoint, which we'll upload to that speaker page once this is over with. Again, inside the app, make sure you've checked your title, your name, your session date and time. Become familiar with that. I know because we just had this registration date and time, I did juggle some sessions around. So you want to always constantly go in the app and make sure your session time and date hasn't changed. If it's something dramatic, I will email you. But if it's around the same time as you had it, you may want to go in and check it. And then make sure you're posting on your social feed about your session, that you're actually presenting at Collaborate, something to be very proud of. So put it on Facebook, LinkedIn, put it onto you can tell people about it on the social feed for the app. Always great to share that information. All right, this is going to talk more about what you're going to be doing leading into the presentation. During your session, of course, you want to start your session on time. You actually want to be there 15 minutes early. You're going to have to bring your laptop. Make sure it's set up. We will have AV personnel in there. Use the microphone, use a wireless microphone. Again, this is always great for from an education manager. Definitely use the microphone. Don't assume everyone can hear. This third bullet is really important. Repeat any questions asked, because what I've always found is a speaker will get asked a question from someone in the front row. Now, the speaker hears it perfectly clear, but that means everyone in the back cannot hear the question. So make sure you repeat a question that's directed to you, and then of course ask it. Of course, repeat the question and then answer it as thoroughly as you can. Remind attendees to complete the session evaluation for Collaborate. In years past, we've had surveys that have like 5 or 6 different questions. This year, we're just asking one question, whether they like the session. We've asked too much information in the past. We want to make it real simple because we want to hear from our attendees. We definitely want to hear the feedback for all speakers. You will be sent information about your survey rating. So that will go out after the conference is over with, probably about a month. I'll send you out. I'll let you know how many attendees you had and what your session rating is. But please, at the end of your session and before your session, remind attendees to complete that survey. Just a reminder of how your sessions should be. Everything must be educational in nature. Again, no sales. There's the information I talked about with your presenter, company information. Another big thing to remember is attendee lists will not be provided. I get asked this all the time. No attendee list will be sent to any of the speakers. It's in your speaker compliance agreement. It's in the speaker compliance agreement when you submitted your session, so keep that in mind. Any badge scanning by speaker or speaker companies is not allowed. Any signage for your company is not allowed. Flyers or promotional materials may be placed in the back of the session, but may not be handed out. The only thing that you can be doing is you can collect contact information for a drawing, but it must be beforehand. Session cancellations or substitutes. Again, this happens and things come up. This crazy time of year right now. I do get, hopefully we'll have good weather this week, but there's always, people that miss flights and things like that nature. Please notify me immediately if you cannot make your session. I do check my email very regularly. We actually have a couple of us checking it, so make sure you email that speaker programs if you cannot make your session. Again, if you can't make it and you've got a colleague that might be able to present it, that's something you want to think about. If you just don't show up, and you can't make it, you don't show up, you will get a 1-year ban from presenting at a Collaborate. And this last bullet is really important. If you are delayed in getting to Las Vegas, I know the Luxor is sold out, isn't sold out yet, but it's getting close. Please make sure you contact your hotel if your arrival will be delayed. If you don't show up till 11 or 12 at night, the hotel does have the right to give away your room. So make sure you contact the hotel if you are delayed. Last thing is, everyone has to bring a laptop. Every year I get a few speakers that say, I did not know. So make sure you don't forget your laptop. That's the main thing. I highly recommend it. You bring it on the day you present, but that way you don't have to carry it around. If you're at the Mandalay Bay or Luxor, it's not that much of a walk to get back to your hotel room. And lastly, I'm kind of showing you the last session. You're going to want to put your email address, your session ID, and again, remind people to fill out the evaluation form for your session. And let's see, let's go into a Q&A here. So I'll look at the questions that were asked. All right. Yeah, I did get one question on here, and that was, do we need to provide 2 sessions of your PowerPoints, one with notes? Yes, I did answer that. That is correct. You do need to provide 2 sessions of your PowerPoint. Does anyone else have any questions? I know I've covered a lot in a short amount of time. The next question is there a maximum number of slides that we can be included? We're going to look over your slides beforehand just to make sure you use the template. Again, it's a 60-minute presentation. You want to shoot for finishing in 50 minutes. Another important thing to remember is all sessions have to be at least 50 minutes long. That's our CPE requirements. We have some people attending your session for CPE credits. It has to be 50 minutes long. So you really want to shoot for that presentation to go 50 minutes with maybe a 10-minute Q&A. So someone did ask if there was a maximum number of slides. If you've got 50 or 60 slides, it gets very difficult to finish that in an hour. So that we may actually go back to you and say, hey, please reduce the number of slides. We get a couple other questions here, so let me go over them. The next person is asking if they can present as a PDF version. No, you cannot. The PDF, there's a lot that the PowerPoint version can do. The PDF version, there's a lot of things you cannot do. So we've had people present on a PDF before, and it just doesn't look right. It just doesn't look good at all. So I highly recommend not using the PDF version. The next question is numbering slides required. I highly recommend you number slides. It's not required, but it's recommended. The reason for this being is that any questions you have may come up about slide number 7 or slide number 8. So make sure you number your slides. It's always great to always have slides, your slides numbered. The next question is kind of a tricky one, but I'll do my best to answer it. Are only PowerPoint slides allowed to show, or is it possible to show a live demo? I actually recommend showing a live demo, but again, due to the internet, you want to make sure you get to that room early, or you can get to your room before sessions begin. I know sessions start a little bit later this year, around 9 a.m. is when sessions start. So if you want to get there at 8 and test out the internet and make sure your demo works and the internet works fine, that's what I'd recommend. But of course, showing a demo is always really great, and people love seeing that. Another person's asking, can we provide templates to the attendees? No, you cannot. Yeah, you're not allowed to hand out anything. The only thing you can do is collect business cards for a drawing. And then another question someone asked, how do we name the different sessions? Again, if you're creating just a PowerPoint, you want your session title underscore PowerPoint, underscore PPT. For your notes, you're going to put your session title underscore PPT space notes. All right, does anyone else have any questions? Oh, there's still a few of them in there. Yep, this is the next one. It's actually a really good question. Will the attendees be able to access hyperlinks within the presentation once saved? Yes, when you save a PDF and you link it, it will link. Just make sure you've inserted a link into it, and the links will be there for anyone for all the attendees that download these links, download the sessions from the email that we send out. All right, next question is a pretty simple one. Are we uploading PDF or PowerPoint this week? Everyone should be uploading a PDF. PDFs are just great. They reduce the size. They're easy to use. We want you to get in the habit of uploading PDFs because we do. I have speakers all the time make updates. It's funny when I look through our system, I can see how many times you've uploaded a new PowerPoint. Sometimes I've seen 20 different versions go up there of one PowerPoint. But make sure you're always uploading a PDF. All right, I think I answered most of the questions. Does anyone else have anything, any other, well, there's a few more coming in here. Oh, this is a great question. Are you going to be receiving this, receive this presentation? I'm not going to actually send this presentation out. I will upload it to that speaker information page, and we'll have it on the OETUG education page website, but you will be able to access it there. I'm going to have to add a new version because there's a couple of really good questions here that I can upload as well. All right, this is one that I actually had thought ahead of. Is it possible for us to show a good example of a previous Collaborate PowerPoint? And I do actually have one up, believe it or not. This was from 2 years ago, so it was in Mandalay Bay again, and this was done by our agenda chair, so I figured this would be a good one to use. She's got the session ID here, she's got her name, her title, her company, her day and time is listed there, and this is the PDF version. So obviously, going to any different version, this is what attendees will be able to see. This is you can see she embedded some links in here. This is good to know. She's got some, it's actually a really good session. It was about becoming an Oracle ace. There's a quick look at this. We can post this as well up on our site for anyone to look at. All right, I got another good question here. Someone was asking if they're a business user and was considering adding a quick training document, no sales pitch, just to help others. Yes, I'd recommend you just title that as a white paper. So I just basically put those training documents up and put underscore WP as a white paper. So if you've created it in Word or anything like that, again, you have to make a PDF out of it and just save it as a WP, and that should be good. All right, another thing I did want to do a quick demonstration of, if you are still available, is this is the web version of the app. You can see right now it's kind of by date when the soonest sessions are up. But one of the great things we have here is how to search for sessions. You click on this. You can select it by track, which is great. So if you select the eBusiness Suite track and hit apply, all sessions will come up eBusiness Suite, and then you can go further into the smart tracks if you want to do that. If you want to look at EBS financials, hit that and hit apply. Another great version that we have is you can also filter by session type. I mentioned some Meet the Expert sessions. So you click on Meet the Experts, you hit apply there, and all sessions will come up Meet the Experts. We did put an acronym in front of the Oracle ones. You can take a look at these. These are the Oracle Meet the Experts. Meet the Oracle Experts is essentially how we titled them. That way, if people searching for them just have to put in MTOE, and all these sessions will also come up. You can see how the different session types, we've got them tagged. You've got the product types, eBusiness Suite, eBusiness Suite, financials, procurement, and projects, because it's all listed here. So again, by tagging all these, you can actually select multiple different filters, which you were not able to do in the past. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's see, is there any other questions? There's a couple of them. Quickly go over these last few questions. All right, just to reconfirm, I can update your presentation as many times as I like before the actual presentation. Correct, you can. But if you have uploaded it and we've reached out to you for a problem, maybe you're putting your company name on too many different slides, maybe you have too many slides, make sure any versions you upload after we've kind of told you any issues or problems have been addressed. So yes, you definitely can do that. It's another good question. Next, do the web version of the app not sync to one another? I bookmarked several on my phone, but looks like there may be some problems for someone that has bookmarked a few apps, a few sessions on the app. I have been making updates, so they should sync together. So if I've updated a session and you've synced it, it may have moved or changed. So it's something you want to look at. I know leading up into the event, I will not be moving any sessions around. So again, you probably want to bookmark sessions the closer we get to the event. So I'd start in April, start bookmarking there, because all our sessions are pretty much set in stone as we speak. But right before this call, I did just get a cancellation. All right. I've got one. This is probably from an Oracle speaker. Is the Oracle template different than the one for the Collaborate site? If you are an Oracle presenter, yes, it is. You've got to use the Oracle template. Oracle has their own templates, and they actually have a website, an Oracle website. I don't know what it is. It's an internal site, but they have an internal Oracle template that you're supposed to use. I know Oracle just went through this giant rebranding, so all their PowerPoints, if you look at last year's and this year, they're going to be completely different. So keep that in mind. Another great question is people, I guess, are looking at the app. Can we reserve a session to attend, add it to our personal calendar? I'm not 100% sure. I have not checked that. I haven't played around with it myself yet, but to see if we can add it to a calendar. I know if you download the mobile app and you add it, you basically click on the star next to the session, it will add to your agenda. So you want to look at your agenda via the mobile app. That's the best way to look at it. All right, still got a few more questions trickling in. So active group, they must all be presenters. All right, I am preparing a video for my presentation to create awareness about the session. Are there any guidelines to follow? That is a good question. Why don't you go ahead and email that one to me? I can forward it on to our marketing team and see if they can respond to that. We always love it when you self-promote your sessions. It's always great to have. Next question is, can we put our company logo in the presentation? You can put that in there in your title slide, in your introduction slide, and on your finishing slide. That's all I recommend for that. All right, there's another good question coming up. For the sessions that say you need to register, will registration be available? For instance, the Build a Bike event. You're supposed to have registered for that when you registered. You can email our registration team that you want to attend that event. That one does fill up and sell out. So yeah, I definitely would recommend that you contact our registration. Again, if you go to our Collaborate page, registration information is right there. You were supposed to register for that when you checked in. All right, we're still getting a few questions here, so we'll keep going through them. All really good questions, by the way. And my cut and paste skills are not that great. I've been leaving off some letters. Can we present a little modified version of the PPT rather than submit it online? That's a great question. If it's beneficial to the attendees, I recommend that you absolutely can. If you don't want some of that information being shared, especially, you may want to have kind of a censored version that goes out to the attendees, but then have an uncensored version for when you present it at Collaborate. Just make sure you get the right presentation loaded, all that good stuff. Really lets me know I should always be doing this speaker orientation, because there are a lot of great questions coming in. Is it okay to have one slide highlighting our company? More information rather than, you can do that highlighted slide right at the beginning of your introduction. Yeah, and then of course at the conclusion, maybe put a little bit more information there. That's what I'd recommend for that. Try to keep everything else out of the guts of your presentation. Another super question here. I'm gonna have to kind of print all these out and add them. How does the presenter and co-presenter responsibilities differ? From my standpoint, only the primary presenter will get the email. So everyone that got that email that I sent out last night will be the primary presenters. Co-presenters do not get those emails. So any information that I shared with you here should be given to the co-presenter. Essentially, all you need to do is email your co-presenter the presentation information page, because all the information that I've given here will be on that page. So essentially, email this out to all your co-presenters is what I'd recommend, because they don't quite get as much information as you guys get. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. I think that will just about do it. A lot of great questions. I will try to answer these the best I can, maybe place them into my presentation and upload those to the presenter information page. You can also find those on the OETUG website education page. I'll put that there as well. So again, I want to thank everyone for being so responsible and asking such great questions. I look forward to meeting you guys. I will be around. I'll definitely be floating generally around the EBS rooms, because that's where the bulk of our sessions are. About half of our sessions are in the EBS area. The other half will be in the cloud area. So if you get to know Mandalay Bay, it's gonna be real simple. We just have sessions on 2nd and 3rd floor. I know if you are a presenter in years past, we have used the North Convention Center, which is a little bit further away. We're not using that this year, so we only have sessions on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. All right, I will go ahead and conclude this webinar. Thanks, everyone. Again, I look forward to meeting everyone, and you're always welcome to come forward and say hi at the event. So thank you. This will conclude the webinar. Everyone have a great afternoon.